Hello and welcome to Eyewitness Report on Channels Television, where those photos and videos you send to our portal are given the desired attention. Now, in a bid to keep the conversation in the power sector going as it relates to metering, exorbitant bills and inadequate power supply, we are keeping stakeholders in the sector close by as an estimated 5 million and counting metering gap stares us in the face. Now, what is the position of the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola? He bears his mind at a press brief in Abuja. Join us for these and more on Eyewitness Report. I'm Chris Alems. In continuation of our focus on the power sector and the numerous troubles it is costing Nigerians, we've kept key players in the industry with us on the program today as they discuss ways of ending this drama and still ensure that the consumer's interest is guaranteed. Join us. The power sector in Nigeria has continued to be bedeviled by a number of challenges as consumption requirements tower far above available supply. While Nigerians are still unsettled by this reality, the issue of accurate measurement of electricity consumed by individuals has thrown up new terms such as crazy or exorbitant bills, which is literally driving consumers crazy.
In Ojota, a room go between 4,000 to 500,000 naira per month. We are paying NEPA bill of 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 naira. In my house, we have 4 people. They give us 28,000 naira. How do we share 28,000 within 4 people? Using meter. That is above a house rent of a room. What is the justification of that? We don't know.
Recently, the bills NEPA has been bringing to us has been very high. For example, in my shop, I pay 20,000, 25,000 naira monthly. I don't run a pure water business. My shop is just a provision store. I have just one freezer in the shop, and they give me such an amount. So that money NEPA is bringing is really eating into my profit margin. And you know, if I pay that much for NEPA billing, then what is my gain? That means I'm running at a loss.
The IKDC has turned our streets to ATM to collect money on monthly basis because they bring outrageous bills and they want us to settle these bills when we have not consumed such bills, because I think it's consumption and billing. But what we have not consumed, they were trying to collect that money from us. And when you don't pay, they turn to be extorting money from our residents all over the places, collecting 2,000, collecting 5,000. It all depends upon the bill they are trying to settle with them. And this thing cannot go on like that.
This issue has become widespread and seems almost insurmountable as protest against the inability of distribution company to supply prepaid meters remains on the rise. For some of these stall owners in Ojota, Lagos, it's been a terrible experience as their bills come with punches below the belt. Some of them have sought alternative sources of power supply.
My own experience right here, the NEPA has been a very big problem to us, especially we that are not using prepaid meters. You understand? They brought exorbitant bills. You understand? To the extent I have stopped using NEPA light. They threaten us. You are selling electrical, you must need light, you must do this. Are you getting me? You can see my, solar inverter panel, spend so much money to get that. You understand? When you look directly inside my shop, they discover that what I'm using is just about not less than 40 watts of a thing. NEPA is bringing, 40-something thousand naira, 47 and above. It's just much.
While a few others are lucky to have prepaid meters. For them, the difference is as clear as crystal.
Will I say that I'm among the lucky ones that were lucky to get prepaid meter and with money, right? Yeah. So, but since I started using the prepaid meter, I know that in a month, 3,000 naira, 2,000 naira will be enough for me, and I might not even finish using it for 1 month. It's depending on what I use in the shop. Like other of my neighbors that don't have a prepaid meter, it's just a shop maybe with one AC or some, we just only the fan. But the bills that they will bring in for them is huge, like an industrial company bill. So it's not good, it's not favorable.
To gauge the level of their frustration, I asked how they would feel to get a prepaid meter.
What we now need is prepaid meter. No prepaid meter, no billing. And where in the intervening period they are going to bring the prepaid meter, they should be reading our meters so as to give us appropriate billings. Anything short of that, we are not going to tolerate any longer.
Following the ongoing enumeration and database collection of electricity consumers in the country, a metering gap of over 5 million users have been discovered, with a possibility of growing further. The need to bridge this gap, according to the Vice Chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, Engineer Sanusi Garba, is what has given birth to Meter Assets Provider, MAP. By this initiative, investors are expected to finance the procurement of prepaid or smart meters for the end users, who will have a repayment plan worked out.
What we did was to say that meters are long-term assets in terms of their useful life, and therefore they can be financed by a third party. I'm sure you are aware that, you can go and finance your car. The car would have a useful life of probably 6, 7, 8 years. You can get financing to cover the life of that asset. Meters have a life of probably 10 or even more than 10 years. And therefore, that presents an opportunity for investors to finance it as an asset and get it installed in the network. And then the investors who provide such an asset can recover their investment plus a reasonable return over the life of the asset. So what we did was to say that the challenge of metering has been financing. It's not a technical issue. The distribution companies have not had adequate capital to go and do metering at the rate that we wanted them to do. It's not that there have been no meters installed. I'm sure many customers can attest to meters being installed, but we want it closed as quickly as possible. And therefore the regulation now says, okay, let's have a third party investor that is interested in long-term assets to now finance meters and then get the revenues over the life of the asset.
On the possibility of users not being able to move with their meters when relocating from one area to another, he says this too has been factored into the implementation plans and strategies.
See, there's a difference between the electricity business and telecoms. The way the utility thing works is that when a disco comes to do customer enumeration, they look at your physical address where you are. So you have a fixed physical location. The meter has an identity